What's up, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Shane Wilson, and this is episode 6 of a series where I am casting the Harry Potter television show for HBO Max, whatever it's called. Drop the HBO, whatever your prerogative it is. You know what I'm talking about. I am going to be based off the books for this series, but I will be using the movies as a slight reference point because I think they're phenomenally well cast. I have already cast a lot of characters in episode 1 through 5, so if you have not watched those, I would recommend doing so first. But I mean, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Now, in this video, Half-Blood Prince, we're going to finally be casting Professor Snape. And I know I should have talked about him in video 1, but I had to save some big characters for these later videos. So that's why you won't see Voldemort till the next video, and you won't see Snape until the end of this one. Yeah, that's right. I'm playing with you still. Now, we will start, though, with another professor. Now, we don't get a new Defense Against the Dark Arts professor in this one, a new character at least, because Snape takes on that role. So, to fill his role, we meet Professor Horace Slughorn. Now, I mentioned in the previous video for Order of the Phoenix that I strongly considered putting Hugh Bonneville for this role and the actor for this role for Fudge before swapping them several times, but I landed on this. I'm going with another Hugh. No, not Jackman, not Laurie, not Hefner. It's Hugh Grant. Excuse me. So, I think Hugh Grant has better comedic timing and delivery. In recent years, his work has been so, and I mean this with the utmost respect and in the best way possible, so silly, so goofy. He's been playing these silly characters in Paddington 2, in Wonka, in the Unfrosted Pop-Tart movie that came out this year. He's playing these silly, goofy characters just to kind of break his typecasting as a rom-com guy a little bit, and he has done so well. Now, Slughorn's meant to be a cheery, jovial character with a big bellowing laugh, and I think Hugh Grant is quite literally maybe perfect for this role. Me saying quite literally maybe perfect. That makes so much sense. Quite literally maybe perfect. But I think Hugh Grant would be great in this role. And, you know, I think if you really think about it, I think you'll agree with me too. So, Hugh Grant as Horace Slughorn. Now, another character that we meet in The Half-Blood Prince is Fudge's successor as Minister of Magic, who was played by Bill Nye, not the science guy, Bill Nye, the actor in the films. And I actually thought about, this is just a side note, I thought about putting Bill Nye, I don't think I mentioned this, as Dumbledore, but I didn't want to do an actor that's already been in Harry Potter. So the actor that I'm choosing to cast is a 49-year-old Englishman, Mr. James Darcy. So Darcy has had supporting roles in some big productions. He's not unfamiliar with that. Oppenheimer. He had a very minor role in Avengers Endgame. He was in the movie Dunkirk. So, this is another instance where I just think he has the look of the character. Looks aren't necessarily always important to me for certain characters, but I think he has the look for Rufus Scrimgeour down. So, James Darcy as Rufus Scrimgeour. Now, I gotta talk slow to make this episode last because I don't have a ton of casting. Now, we've previously met Lucius Malfoy and Bellatrix Lestrange, played by Harry Lloyd and Eva Green. Now we're going to meet their respective wife and sister, Narcissa Malfoy, who is also the mother of Draco Malfoy, who, if you're curious, I'm not casting students in this other than Cedric Diggory, which I cast in episode 4, Goblet of Fire, just because I think they should be young, unknown actors, this is my 40th time saying that. But for this role, I had two thoughts. First, was Emilia Clarke. Right? And I think that's probably because of the blonde hair. Now, Narcissa is married into the Malfoy family, so unless she just did it to blend in with the rest of her family, I don't think she necessarily even needs to have blonde hair, right? But I couldn't get out of my mind. Emilia Clarke is just too sweet to me, though. And so instead I went with an actress who I'm sure is just as sweet in real life, but I think can play a slightly meaner role, even though Daenerys gets a little mean there at the end. And that is Vanessa Kirby, and yes, she can also pull off the blonde hair. Now, Vanessa Kirby, she's 36-year-old. She played Princess Margaret in The Crown is one of the roles I know her for, as well as she's recently made waves playing a role in the Mission Impossible franchise. I believe she's was in the last two movies and will be in the next one as well. And of course, she will be the Invisible Woman in the MCU's Fantastic Four. So I'm sure people that don't already know who she is will soon be put. They'll still know. They'll know, right? Now, Vanessa Kirby as Narcissa Malfoy. There you go. So I just want to touch on this real quick. These two characters are very minor. They appear in like one chapter and one scene. I think one of them appears in 2 chapters and 2 scenes. But on my most recent read through of Harry Potter, I just envisioned these two gentlemen as Morfin and Marvolo Gaunt as I read about the characters. If you don't even know who those are, they are Morfin is the uncle and Marvolo is the grandfather of Lord Voldemort. They're seen in flashbacks of Lord Voldemort when Professor Dumbledore is trying to acquire memories to figure out where Horcruxes are and more about Voldemort's past. And so we see Morfin and Marvolo in a flashback with Merope. I'm going to keep this fairly short just because they're fairly minor characters, but this one especially, when I'm listening to the book, they start talking about Morfin Gaunt. He's deranged. He's a straight up wacko. In my head, I just envisioned Caleb Landry Jones. I don't know why. There's not much to it. He can play a violent and volatile character. He did it in Get Out. I think he can perfectly pull that off. The only caveat that I did not do, with many other roles, if any, I don't think, is that he's American. Right? I try to keep it to British, Irish, Scottish, Welsh actors and actresses for the most part, unless their actor was from somewhere else, or Eva Green is French and I had her as Bellatrix Lestrange. But anyways, I'll say this though, he doesn't even really need to do a British accent because Morfin really only speaks in Parseltongue. So I think if they just made it to where he only spoke in Parseltongue, that would be just fine. So he really just needs to be able to do a snake accent, whatever that sounds like. I don't know. Now, for Marvolo Gaunt, Morfin and Merope's father, Voldemort's grandfather, I would cast Peter Capaldi. Now, the Scottish actor, he can play an intense, antagonistic character. He is mostly known for his role as the Doctor. I don't know which number in Doctor Who. Maybe 11. That's going to be my guess. I really don't know. No, I'm going to get my guess is 12. He played the 12th Doctor. Let's look it up, shall we? Peter Capaldi. I'm just curious. He played the 12th incarnation of the Doctor. The reason I changed my guess is because I said 11th, but then I think the 11th might have been David Tennant, I think. Maybe I'm wrong though. No, Matt Smith was the 11th. I'd never watched Doctor Who before, but I know about it. But that's how most people know Peter Capaldi is from Doctor Who. I just envision him as Marvolo Gaunt. I'm going to move on now. Because, fine, we're going to do Snape now. The popular one is Adam Driver. I'm not opposed to that, but I'm not doing Adam Driver. I'm not basic. I'm not a basic B like some of you guys. I'm just kidding. I did not just mean to come for you like that. That's not what I was trying to do. I apologize for that. And also, he's American, which I'm sure Adam Driver can do a phenomenal British accent, but why not just get an actor that it's native for, you know? I have no doubt he can do it, but I feel like that's popular, right? The reason it's popular is because he looks like Alan Rickman, and I don't want this to just be an Alan Rickman impersonation because I don't think that would do Snape or Rickman or the actor that I cast would do them justice, so I'm not going to do that. Now, another name that I've seen is Barry Keoghan. I could get behind that. I think he would be good, but I actually have him somewhere else in the next video. Yeah, that's right. Now, before I say who it is, I want to clear this up. People are going to thirst over Snape. Guess what? It's going to happen. For you older folks that don't know what thirst means, they're going to think that he's a hot piece of butt right there. They're gonna think he's a hot man, right? That's just going to happen. It's going to happen with Snape. It's going to happen, right? Lean into it. Get an actor that they're already going with. Now, I briefly considered this man. I still haven't told you who it is, and that's intentional. I briefly considered this man and one of his co-stars and a couple other actors for Peter Pettigrew because of the recent rodent actor movement. Now, I didn't end up casting any of them because even though he looks like he's meant to look like a rat, I think that this is rodent actor in a different way. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. That's a thing online. Now, his co-star, Mike Feist, I thought about trying to get here, but I just couldn't find a role for him. But I did find a role for his Challenger co-star, Josh O'Connor. All right, Josh O'Connor as Severus Snape. So, if you don't know Josh O'Connor, I'm sure you recognize him because he's recently blown up for Challengers for playing, what's his character's name? Patrick Weiss, I think. Patrick Weiss? Is that right? I'm going to go with that. I think this just fits, man. He's the other role he's known for is he played Prince Charles in The Crown. He's 34, so he perfectly matches the age of my Marauders. He can play a slimy jerk, which Snape is. I know some of you guys really vibe with Snape. I think Snape is an antagonist through the whole story. I know he has a redemption arc at the end, but I still think he's a bad guy the whole time. I don't think he's redeemed at the end, and we can talk about that later if you want. But I'm really a fan of this pick here of Josh O'Connor as Severus Snape. Of course I'm a fan of it. It's mine. I'm claiming it. I didn't see it online, but I'm sure it's there, but I didn't see it, so I'm claiming this is my pick. And I want to get these videos out before any cast announcements are made so that if it is true, I can be like, yeah, I called that. Or if it's not true, but then that person doesn't do a good job, I should be like, they should have gone with mine. I'm just kidding. I would never. That's disrespectful. Anyways, Josh O'Connor is Severus Snape. There we go. Now, really, the only big one we have left is Lord Voldemort. But that's not for this episode. That's for the next episode. I don't know why I'm pointing right here. That next episode is not right here. This might still be a picture of Josh O'Connor as Severus Snape. Probably not. There's probably nothing there right now other than this sign and bed and poster and me. And you, thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know who you would cast in this role. And stay tuned for episode 7, where I cast the Deathly Hallows and beyond. What does that mean? Guess you'll have to watch that episode and find out. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.